that. All right. So when it came to your dissertation, we talked about that already a little bit. And now what you do is you created SLAAY, SLAAY is kind of your thing, right? So how did you transition from like, this is what my doctoral research is, and now I'm moving it because you have an applied doctorate. So I'm now moving it into how I can position it and really create something that I can own in the market to be able to help. I don't think that a lot of people realize how easy it could be to take, and I was doing calls earlier, and so I actually have my dissertation in front of me here, but how easy it is to take everything that you've done in your research and create a program, which is what I did with my programs. Is I just took everything in my, what I wrote, what my research was, and I turned it into like my core offer as a coach. So how did you do that?
Yeah, so I think when I graduated, I think even when I was doing my dissertation, it was around how do I make this something that can last, that I can modify it, so I didn't pick what I picked just randomly, or I was like, let me hurry up and I picked it on purpose because when I got my doctorate, I wanted to learn, I wanted to be able to fill the gaps in what I felt I had and how I could show up or help people. And so my doctorate was on around that same thing. How do I create something with the knowledge and the tools and skills that I've learned during this program and elevate that to be able to make a better impact on the world? And so again, I'm all around linking the practical with the people, right? And making it real. And so mine was around that. And so I just had brain melt. What was the other part of your question?
It was SLAAY. So talk to us about how you created SLAAY specifically from that.
I took when I graduated, I was actually struggling, to be quite frank. I was like, okay, God, I was in a funk. I really was. And it took that first year, I was like, plus it was the pandemic. So I was like, what am I supposed to be doing? How do I translate this? Because I didn't really have a plan, even though I had a product. And I honestly took some time to learn me again because my life had been so immersed into that program for almost 5 years. I need to find out who I was again first in relation to where I wanted to move forward. So I actually did some coaching programs, got in those, tried to dabble in things that were similar to learn from others first. And then I was able to start through those programs. It made me start to think differently, right? To be more creative, to open my mind up in a different way. I say get out of the school frame of mind and back into the people frame of mind, the day-to-day stuff. And it was during one of those where we were challenged to like come up with, who are you? What is it you're trying to represent? I remember just sitting on my couch. I was like, I did research on books, right? I just like looking on book titles, and I really liked this one called SLAAY. And then at the same time, I was doing youth programs. I was leading a girls mentoring program, and I first created it for that program. I wanted to see how to help them show up authentically as themselves every day. And so I created modules using some of the stuff from my dissertation and made it work for 13 to 18-year-olds.
Look at that.
And so we did that with themes that were overall tied to the outline that we were trying to do for the year. And then once I did that, I was like, oh, SLAAY, that's really good. But I was like, it really needs to mean something outside of just SLAAY.
Sure.
So as I started to try to build out that program, I started talking to different colleges and their students around what I felt SLAAY meant and stuff. And then I just remember sitting on the couch one day, I'm like, there's an acronym in here. I just need to figure it out.
So I know I can figure it out.
It's like all this stuff I talk about means something. I don't think it's in this word. And I remember like I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna go sleep for a second, and then we're gonna come up with something because just how it works. And it actually happened, because I was like, just stop thinking about. And I woke up and I was like, well, strategic, because I love strategy. And that's what it is. And I was like, well, do I want leading or living? It's like, well, leading's just part of it. It's like, how do you live every day? Because I talk about being resilient and getting back and that type of stuff. And then I was like, for me, a big thing has been about authenticity in the workplace, in the people that I deal with, and not hiding who I am, right? And so I was like, that's an A. And that was like, and then strategically living authentically as I want to live as me, nobody else. And that was like, what is another letter? And that last A gave me a problem, but eventually I was just
it could have been slam, like it's me.
It could have been anything. And so that's how it came up, strategically living authentically as yourself. But it was linked to the things that I have been talking about, that I have been training on in the youth programs at the colleges, helping other people work through, like, how do I stand up and lead when there's cave people coming at me or workforce bullies? How do you do that stuff? And to me, part of that is being strategic in how you approach it and doing it authentically, and you're living every day. So that's where it came from, linked to my doctorate stuff, though.
Linked to your doctorate.